Developing emotional intelligence as a business owner. Oh my goodness. This one right here, I understand why you're watching this video, by the way. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself and why this subject is very important to me. So if you don't know my story, I came up very tough. I had a near death experience at the age of 7 that nearly claimed my life. I had, well, obviously, it nearly claimed my life if it was a near death experience. But the point that I'm making is I went through a tremendous amount of physical pain at a very young age, 7 years old, hit in the face by a truck. Another thing that happened to me is that I grew up in a household that was, dysfunctional. Using the word dysfunction is me being nice. I mean, my household was just horrible. And so I grew up with a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of physical trauma, and I was just living on edge for a very, very long time. And so what that did for me is it made me turn into someone that was just completely numb on the inside. Okay, so I went through a lot of personal development to overcome a lot of the emotional blockages that I had inside of myself. Because at one point in time, I didn't even know what it felt like to feel anything. I was so completely numb. And so through meditation and through a lot of inner work, I was able to remove a lot of those emotional blockages and, get through a lot of the emotional trauma that I'd gone through as a kid. Now, even though I healed myself from those, past emotional traumas, when I became a full blown entrepreneur, I realized that I could channel a lot of that aggressive energy that I used to have way back in the day. I can now channel that passion, if you will, into my business. And so that made me a very high strong individual that was super, super focused on the mission at hand. And I'm still that way today. And that was okay as long as I operated as a solopreneur. But when I started to bring people on my team, I found it very hard to relate to people that were not as hungry as me. And honestly, I still find it hard to relate because, I'm a go getter. Like here I am today. My entire office, is empty and I'm the only one here. That's how I'm wired up. That's how focused I am. That's how driven I am. And because I came up so hard, I find a lot of the things that most people, especially employees, complain about to be very small. And so I didn't understand that I had a problem with emotional intelligence because I just thought I was just being tough, and I still think I'm a very tough individual. But anyway, working through my own emotions and getting in touch with who I truly am as an individual caused me to have an awakening and take other people's emotions into account when I'm interacting with them. So one thing I knew early on is that most people are not going to have the passion that you have for your business. They're not going to have that passion for your business. You have a whole nother level of passion for your business because it's your business. They know that your business is not their business. So finding someone that is super motivated like you are is going to be, challenging sometimes. And you have to accept that. You have to accept that a lot of people are fragile out there. And a lot of people don't have the mental strength that you have to deal with the things that you deal with. And so while you are able to handle a tremendous amount of pressure as a business owner, your employees a lot of times are not able to handle that amount of emotional pressure. And the reason why is because the reason why they're working is different than the reason why you own the business that they're working for. So you can have handle a tremendous amount of pressure, and things that appear to be small to you doesn't bother you that much because of what you've gone through previously in your life. But we live in a different world now, and people are, how can I say it? They're just soft. People are real soft out here. Men and women are real soft. And so you have to be very conscious as to how you interact with them, and they don't make them like they used to. You know what I mean? And so I'm talking to myself when I say this, because it took me a long time to understand that. When people would complain about the simplest thing, I'm like, what are you even complaining about? But you got to realize you got a world out here where people are super soft, or some people are going through a lot of things at home that you have no idea that they're going through. A lot of other people are like comparing themselves to other people that they might have saw on social media, so they already feel insecure in many ways. So there's different ways that there's different things that can trigger a person's emotions. And what you have to do is you have to have enough emotional intelligence and self-awareness to step back, and before you react to the way an employee or even a customer is behaving, you take a step back and you decide how you want to respond to them. This is like playing checkers. Excuse me, it's like playing chess. You want to sit back and observe your next couple of moves. How should I interact with this individual? What is the outcome I want for this individual? You have to kind of think for these people. What kind of end result do you want for them? And then also ask yourself, what end result do they have in mind when you're coming across these individuals? Because again, people are so different. They don't make them the same way they used to make them. And you have to understand that people are not as tough as you are. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we deal with a lot. We deal with a tremendous amount. And the reason why we became entrepreneurs in the beginning without even knowing it is because we can handle a tremendous amount of pressure. The vast majority of entrepreneurs that I know, they have come from very colorful backgrounds. And so whether they come from a household where their father was abusive, or their father was absent, or maybe they grew up in a tremendous amount of poverty, or maybe they, were disciplined tremendously because they played sports. These entrepreneurs know how to deal with pressure. And, I'm speaking to the choir right now because I'm assuming you are an entrepreneur as well. But the case of the matter is, a lot of people haven't had the experiences that you have. They haven't had the emotional training that you've had. So you have to be understanding. You have to, try to see things from somebody else's perspective. And it can be very challenging to do. Very challenging. And especially like for me, because I'm a straight talker, when I come across people that I believe should be just happy and grateful for being in the position that they're in, and they're complaining about something that I perceive to be small, it can be very hard for me to say, to like acknowledge what they're going through. And the same thing is true with children. Children are just like employees a lot of times. Like a child, that hasn't gone through the things you've gone through. So you have to be a little bit more understanding and try to see things their way. Be curious about why they think the way they think. Be curious about why they're behaving the way they're behaving, because they're doing it for a reason. That reason might not be the reason you would expect it to be either. So always know that they are behaving that way because of a reason. Like, they are doing what they think they should be doing. And that's the thing with everybody. Everybody is doing what they think they should be doing. They're saying what they think they should be saying. Like, very few people do things that they don't think they need to be doing. Even if it's bad things, they could justify it by saying, I need to do this, or I should do this, or I'm doing this because of this. So just trying to see things from their perspective can be very beneficial. it does not mean, in my opinion, it does not mean that you automatically make yourself wrong and them right just to have emotional intelligence. I believe in addressing people. I believe in holding people accountable. So that means that when somebody steps out of line, I'm going to hear them out, but also I'm going to voice my opinion about the matter at hand as well. And if that means I have to discipline them by writing them up, you know, giving them a good talking to, warning them, or even just letting them go, I'm gonna do it, but I do want to understand where people are coming from first and foremost, and I try to listen with an open mind. What I don't tolerate though is that victim mentality. I tell everybody that don't come to me with a victim mentality. I'm also, and this is where I flip the script, because in my ability to have a deep level of self awareness and to practice emotional intelligence, I also do not tolerate any type of victim mindset. Like, move away from me with that, because that's, to me, that's contagious. And I do want to be around people that are emotionally strong, people that are mentally strong. I do want to be around those individuals. So what I'm doing is I'm not trying to bend my mind to fit their soft mentality. I am being open to understand so that I can help them learn how to be more mentally sound, more emotionally sound. To me, emotional intelligence are taught by people as that are insinuating that you should just be kind of passive and never really call anybody out on their crap. But me, I don't, that's not how I do it. I want to listen, I want to understand, but if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, and I'm going to let the person know that it doesn't make sense. And that's just how I deal with it. I'm curious, as an entrepreneur, how do you see emotional intelligence? How do you deal with it? All right, when you're in a scenario where you have to, think about how you're approaching people. Let me know in the comment section. It's Robbie Cornelius from Web Asset Group, always encouraging you to master your mind and make money online. Talk to you soon.